whose most recent film titled Hazing, How Badly Do You Want It? And McKay Coppins, who is senior writer for BuzzFeed. So nice to have you all here. So just let me ask, is that a fair critique of feminism?
I think it is a fair critique. I think she was thrown under the bus for broader political concerns. And I don't think that you can fight on behalf of all women if you're not willing to defend one. That doesn't necessarily mean that they needed to, you know, bash the Clintons, but she was being publicly shamed, humiliated. This was an extremely young woman. And I do think that some apologies should be made.
Is it possible, Tara, to make that apology for a group of, whether it is a feminist infrastructure or individual feminist women, to make that apology to Monica Lewinsky for the extent to which she was not fully considered as a human, and simultaneously support the candidacy of Hillary Clinton, which is still an imaginary candidacy at this moment, right? But potentially a candidacy of Hillary Clinton, which would undoubtedly bring Bill Clinton back to the White House, albeit in a supportive spouse role?
Well, first of all, I think feminism is not perfect. We know over the years...
Can we get a hashtag, feminism is not perfect? Yes, sure.
Over the years, there have been many times where I think that feminists should have stepped up on behalf of different people. I have to be honest, I'm not sure that Monica Lewinsky is as much of a victim as others that feminism has left on the side of the road.
Give me just one example.
Oh, gosh, how many examples could I give you? Well, I think in particular as it relates to black women, I think many times, a lot of times, from my perspective, Michelle Obama. I think that she has been pummeled in this White House, the way she's been treated. And I think, and when she stood up for herself against that one woman who was, I guess, an agitator at one of her events, and people sort of said, why was she so aggressive with her? I think that there could have been a much stronger defense of Michelle Obama by feminists throughout her time. Some people have attacked her for not being as aggressive on certain issues as a woman. And I think there's a lack of sensitivity and understanding, you know, sort of the cultural and color dynamics that relate to her.
So I like this idea that that there was this moment of failure, that the failure is in part related to a complicity with the power of the Clinton White House in that moment, and that this is not feminism's only fail, right? So that Monica Lewinsky is one, but there's a broader set of relationships, intersections around guess and identity and class that we know at least one version of feminism has systematically failed. That said, I guess, Byron, there's a part of me that wants to, just in the context of Monica Lewinsky, think about the idea that her name and her life does end up with a layer of shame over it, unlike what the Clintons or even First Lady Obama, like, yes, there are moments of attack, but Michelle Obama's name is inherently a punchline. You can't Michelle Obama over people's draft, right? Like, that there's a way in which Monica Lewinsky's name becomes a thing that just carries shame with it.
Well, what struck me about her essay the most was the fact that her journey after this whole controversy was very, very different than Bill Clinton's journey and even Hillary Clinton's journey. And in fact, you know, his reputation has probably blossomed, has grown, his stature has increased. He's seen as such a statesman, and he's seen as this respected ex-president. And meanwhile, she struggled to make a living and earn a job and get a job and earn a living. And so that just speaks to me to the level of male privilege that President Clinton, former President Clinton, benefited from, on which most men in his situation benefit from whenever there is the other woman. And so his reputation remained intact while that woman, Monica Lewinsky, had to endure so much, and really silently. I mean, she really suffered alone, I mean, based on, you know, her essay and what she described.
So I appreciate that you put Lewinsky in the context of Bill Clinton. Typically, though, the next person whose name is mentioned is actually Hillary Clinton, as I did when I asked you that question. So is Planet Hillary, like, at this moment, do you think Planet Hillary is saying, okay, whoa, this is bad for us, this is good for us, or just this is fully expected?
Well, I think that they probably expected Monica to reemerge at some point in these next 2 years. I think that the same way that you've seen some feminists over the last week kind of wrestle with how the movement handled that whole scandal in the 90s. What's interesting now is you see Republicans who are now emerging and saying, if we're going to talk about this, we don't talk about the sex scandal, we don't talk about the blue dress or all those details. We talk about the way the partisan Democratic machine revved up and just, went to war with this.
This is their version of the war on women. This is what we have Rand Paul saying this week. But so we're going to take a break. When we come back, I actually want to ask Jessica if that's at all fair. So I don't think that it's fair to say somehow Hillary Clinton is responsible for this moment. But I do wonder, like, again, how you make that apology, how you think about the question of slut shaming